Hello and welcome, guys. We are live. Hello, hello, hello. I put my glasses on so that I'm ready for you guys. How are you guys? This time we should not have any issues with the internet because I am no longer in Portugal. I am now in Italy. So welcome. Let me know where you're from. Just kind of type in the chat box and let me know where you're from. I'm so glad to have you guys here, and we're at a different time. So welcome. If you're new here, every week I do these live Q&As in my lingerie. And now we kind of focus on a topic while also answering your questions, because your questions are super important to me. So, Oakland, California, Texas. Jason, you're at work. Awesome. Glad to have you here. I'm sure this is more exciting than your work. Cayman is from Durham, North Carolina. Welcome. North Carolina. I don't think I've ever been to North Carolina. I don't think I've ever been. They're here. I'm going to put in these earbuds and they are connected. All right. So, thank you. Damani says, I love your new haircut, Bob, lingerie, and glasses. Sexy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it actually feels good having short hair. Trinidad, Caribbean. Wow. What an honor to have you here. Thanks for being here. So, guys, on this one, we're going to talk about things to watch out for before going on a first date. I don't know if any of you guys have, it's more exciting than my work is right now. I don't know if any of you guys have had challenges with first dates, but here's the deal. When it comes to first dates, it's either a make or break situation. A lot of times I've had clients in the past who have not been able to make a connection with a woman, and the women come back and they say, oh, I just didn't feel any chemistry. How many of you have heard that before? I just don't feel any chemistry. And so they don't give them a second date. And so, they say first impressions are everything. So, we want to talk about that, like how to really master that first impression, so that you go through all this effort to approach her, to talk to her, but then you get her on the date and then you blow it. And then you're like, shoot, I just went through all this effort to get her. And something obviously didn't click for her, because she's telling me there's no chemistry, there's no connection. And so she thinks we can just be friends, or she just says that's just it, if she's super honest. Welcome, Thor Corp from England. Ninja Wolf says, how's Italy suiting you? It has been wonderful. I'm currently in Tuscany, and it is just stunning. Italy, I had a girlfriend say, she said something so great today. She said, Italy always delivers, and it 100% does. It's been immensely beautiful and captivating and enchanting. And it just, every time I look at one of the buildings here, it just takes my breath away. I just spent the day in Florence yesterday, and that was just, I've been before and I went again, and it's just incredible. So thank you for asking, Ninja Wolf. Brian Hardman. Hey, my darling. I get to talk to you this Friday. I'm like really looking forward to that. Derek from California. Welcome, my dear. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So here's the thing. When it goes on a first date, how you set everything up from the beginning is a telltale factor. And it's also a good indicator of how the date is going to go, and if there's going to be that fiery connection or not. So the first thing that you want to do is really be intentional about taking charge. I want you to write that down. When going on a date, be really intentional about taking charge. And why is that? Is because innately most women, we want a guy to lead us, right? We want him to be the leader. And when it comes to first dates, that is the time for you to really shine, to show her like what you have. So if you're approaching her and you're at the point where you feel comfortable to ask her out, If you're approaching her and you're like, well, hey, what do you want to do? What would you be interested in doing? Hey, when's a good time for you? Hey, are you are you wanting to go out? I mean, these kind of lack of confident questions sets you off on a terrible foot. Set an intention to take charge from the beginning by saying things like this. Ready? Hey, hope you're well. Like, let's say you're messaging her or you're on the phone with her. So, this Friday, I would really like to take you to, we'll say, an Italian restaurant because I'm in Italy right now. I'd really like to take you to this Italian restaurant. They're known for having the best wine, and they have this pasta dish that will blow your mind. How about I come pick you up at 7 o'clock? You see where that's like you're just taking charge. You've taken charge of the date. You've taken charge of the time. You've taken charge of the restaurant. You've already communicated what's to be enjoyed at the restaurant. And you've also communicated that you will be picking her up, right? See how much intention has gone there in taking charge of the whole thing. Now, this is where nice guys, this is where guys who get too much in their head really screw things up because you start overthinking things. You start overthinking, well, what if she doesn't like Italian food? Well, what if she thinks I'm crazy? How does she know I'm not a killer? So, what if I offer to pick her up and that really turns her off? And what if that scares her away? And what if she has plans with her friends on Friday? Do you hear how many what ifs are getting involved? And every single what if is a negotiation of you not taking charge. Here's the thing. When you don't do that, this is why you land in the friend zone. This is why she says, I didn't feel any chemistry. I didn't feel any spark because she doesn't feel your leading. She doesn't feel your direction. She doesn't feel you being a man and properly pursuing her. And a woman wants to be pursued. Listen, we crave being pursued. And so when you take charge and you say, listen, this is how it's this is what I foresee happening. Here's the thing. If any of the what ifs come out that I just went through, what if she's not available on Friday? What if she doesn't like Italian food? What if she thinks I'm a creepy stalker and she doesn't want me to pick her up? All of those things she can communicate to you after you've set the precedence of you taking charge. She can then say, I don't like Italian food. I'm busy on Friday. And then she can suggest, well, how about Saturday? How about Monday? Let her suggest another thing. Or if she says, I'd rather drive and meet you there. She can answer all the what ifs. Here's the next thing I want you to write down. Let her answer the what ifs that are playing out in my mind. I'm going to say that again. Write that down. Let her answer the what ifs that are playing out in my mind. Too often, guys get so caught up in the what ifs and you start second guessing yourself. You don't show up how you want to show up. Instead, you second guess every move that you make. And then in turn, she feels that uncertainty resonating from you. She doesn't feel like, wow, this guy's like super confident. He's in charge. Like this guy is going to take me places. She doesn't feel any of that energy from you, my dear. And when she doesn't feel that energy, guess what? She disconnects. She says, I wasn't feeling it with you. There's no connection here. And here, all this effort that you made to get her on the date, to work up the courage to approach her, to work up the courage to ask her for her phone number, to actually, start messaging with her. And what do I say? And saying the right things. All of that hard work, all of that effort gets thrown out the window by a response from her that says, I'm sorry, I didn't feel a connection with you. I didn't feel any chemistry with you. I'm really sorry. You're a great guy. you're a really nice guy. She started saying all those things, and you're like, there I go. We're done. We're done. It's all downhill from there. Instead, you can take advantage of being very intentional by taking charge from the get-go. And so, guys, I really try to, my whole goal is to, help you guys feel confident when you're pursuing women. I want you guys to feel confident. I don't want you to feel uncertain. I want you to feel like you can trust yourself when you're pursuing women, that you know exactly what to do. You have the playbook. You're reading the playbook and you're responding to the playbook by showing up with women more assertively. And also, to make it easier for you guys, I created a program called How to Get a Date. And I just put it in the chat for any guys who want to check it out. It's basically, it's how to pursue a woman, like even if you see her on social media, which I know, a lot of people are meeting on social media now. But how do you actually go from social media to getting her interested in you and then actually getting her on a date with you? So, how to get a date really kind of, with the principles I'm sharing here about being intentional, taking charge, are all laid out very simply for you. It's a very easy way to follow through. I created some video trainings. And then with all of my programs, I always create a PDF so that you can look and reevaluate the key important parts of the training so that you can go and implement this in your own life. And of course, I always share personal stories that will also help you guys get clarity on how to pursue a woman. So make sure that you get your hands on How to Get a Date. So I'm just going to answer some questions while I grab some water. Is it important to give her time and space to decide if she wants to have a date with me? No. Absolutely not. Do not give her time and space. Listen, when you give her time and space, that creates a lot of confusion. We have expressions like time is of the essence. So what you want to do is, like, when you've made all the effort to get her attention and to ask her out, you want to capitalize on that momentum. And so you want to move forward and move forward very quickly. Which is why I always encourage you guys with dating apps. Like, and I, in this program, How to Get a Date, I really talk about, listen, the dating app is just to get you to actually meet her. And too often I see men hanging out, chatting on dating apps for far too long, messaging, text messaging, commenting on social media. And it's like, listen, guys, that just breeds frustration for a woman. And I can guarantee you, if I had women in my audience, they'd be saying, hell yeah. That all it does is breeds frustration. You've worked up enough effort to create that connection with her. So follow through on that, and follow through on that immediately. Set up a date or a time to connect with her immediately. Do not waste time. Get her on the phone and then get her on a date. Get her on the phone, get her on a date. Get her on the phone, get on a date. But do not waste time. Next question. Okay, this is kind of not pertaining to this, but Joe Bird says, my question is it good to be patient with an older woman? Like, here's the thing, like with older women, the older we get, the more challenges we go through in life, right? And the more challenges we go through, the more guarded we become, the more hurt we become. And unless a person has been very proactive in their healing and their self-development and releasing things that no longer serve them, it can be a little tricky. It can be very challenging sometimes. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why do you want to be patient with this woman? And is there enough Sometimes I just lose my words. Is she reciprocating? Let's just change it. Is she reciprocating enough back to you so that you feel like you're getting your needs met? Or is it just one-sided? Because my thing is, if it's just one-sided, it's never worth it. If you guys aren't mutually meeting each other, then it's not a relationship. It's just you pursuing, pursuing, pursuing. And eventually that's going to get old. And eventually it's going to really take a toll on your confidence and your inner health and your mental health for that matter. Jonathan, I'm not sure what you're saying, babe. It says if she ever uses the F word, it's time to clear. Oh, if she ever uses the F word, it's time to clear things up. Next question. Yeah, someone said wishy-washy. Don't be wishy-washy. Seriously, it just drives women nuts. Do not be wishy-washy. Hi, Christian from West Palm. So glad to have you here. And West Palm Beach. Gary from Springfield, Illinois. Michael Brown, that's a really sweet thing. I see you smiling from inside out. Thank you, darling. Caitlin says, can a woman subconsciously flirt with a male? Absolutely. I think it's kind of surprising to me how many women are not aware of when they're flirting. It's just kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, or it's just something that they've always done to get something that they've wanted. And I've seen like male friends call out female friends, in front of me and say, you're flirting with this guy. And she'll say, no, I'm not. And it's like, yes, you are. Your body language, this, that, the way you're carrying yourself, the way you're asking questions, the way you're touching him, you're flirting. And some women just don't even realize they're actually flirting. And so, for those women, they probably need to become a little bit more conscious of how they're showing up. So Cayman Music says, is it better for a man to plan the date with a woman before asking her? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it shows her that you have a plan. She can always say, no, she's not interested in that plan. Or she can say, let's make changes to that plans to make it work for her as well. But I think it's always best for a man to have a plan, to be intentional, to take charge from the get-go. Hello from a Canadian in Cartagena, Colombia. Hello, Rick. Punisher says, thank you. Doing a great job. Thanks for understanding all these questions. You're so welcome. And yes, Brandon Daniel says, smash the like button, guys. Arica is the best female dating coach online. Thank you. I'm not going to disagree with you. Damani, I can't tell if you're being serious or is this a joke? It says these dating videos claim you need to make a woman feel safe. Is my sending them my background check report with an exclamation a good idea or too much? Definitely too much. In terms of feeling safe, like that's more of an emotional pursuit. I mean, yeah, you always, I guess physically too, you want to make a woman feel safe. Like I love when men, walk on the side of the road where the traffic is coming, like those sort of things that make a woman feel safe. But typically we're talking about emotionally, making a woman feel safe emotionally, because the more safe that she feels with you emotionally, the more inclined she's willing to open up to you. Yeah, absolutely. Derek says good conversation during a first date is a positive thing. Also having a good sense of humor. Yes, good conversation is super important because that's what creates a connection, which also brings up another point that I'd like to make about first dates and how you don't want to make these mistakes, how you don't want to ruin or screw up a first date is this. Things that you should watch out for before going on a first date is make sure that, and what I've always said is always interject some form of touch. When you meet her, like, a double kiss, like the double kiss on the cheek, giving her a hug, like it's super important to establish some form of physical connection, because it's how we relate to one another. It's how we feel one another. But if we're just talking and we talk too much and there's no physical connection, like touching her hand, or, I've always said, like, removing hair from her shoulder, like, looking for a reason to appropriately touch her, like those sort of things create connection. I even, when I'm talking to strangers, I've shared with you guys, I can't help but to touch them. I typically grab people's arms. I don't know why, but it's just my thing. And it's my way of being able to connect with someone and to always make sure that there's some form of, like some form of connection that she's feeling from you, because remember, women want to feel from you. And so I think a lot of guys who are, my guys who get stuck in their head, my analytical types, they get so stuck in their heads that they forget, like, that's a human being and you want to create that physical connection as well, because maybe she can't feel you through your conversation because you're a really heady person, but she can feel you through your touch. And so that's really going to resonate with her. I've had men even play with my hair on a date, like, I mean, it's just a very affectionate thing to do that really warms a woman's heart when a man knows how to interject touch. And like I said, I talk about all this stuff in my program called How to Get a Date. It's $47. So I really encourage you to get on that immediately so that you avoid making mistakes. Someone just posted something really funny and I can't wait to say it because I'm definitely going to say it. And it's inappropriate and I love it. Corey says, "Hey, Erica, when a couple breaks up and says the relationship just ran its course, what does that mean and how do you avoid that pitfall?" That means we quit connecting. The connection stopped. We quit listening. We quit telling each other what we wanted or what we didn't want because we started getting afraid. And so we started getting complacent in the relationship and we stopped communicating. And so therefore it became stale, it became stagnant, and we quit working at the relationship and it ran its course on its own. It means when we say the relationship ran its course, it means the relationship ran and we weren't running with it, meaning we weren't active participants. So that's why I always encourage, like, communicative, even when it's difficult, which is why I call men emotional warriors, because most men, that I talk to, especially men when I'm first working with them as clients, when they say, oh, well, they find reasons to not have hard conversations with women. Oh, well, it's just not that important, or I'll get to it later, or it's just not the right time. Guys will say things like this. And it's like, when you say things like that, all you're doing is delaying it. And when you delay it, all you do is whatever that problem is that's festering underneath just continues to do just that. It continues to fester, it continues to grow until the relationship becomes Ripped Up says, your beauty is distracting. Thank you. But one thing I'm learning, I remember in high school, it was easy to attract women. Then after college, it was more challenging. Now I don't even try. Um, it's always worth still trying. It's just asking yourself, what is it that you really want? Because when we really want something, we'll always find a solution to get it. Brian, the world. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's a huge honor. Thank you for saying that. So this is a funny comment that I have to read. Dixon, that's amazing. Love isn't just a feeling, it's shaving your balls. Well said. Well said. Ninja Wolf says, Erica, I would never go to online dating or dating apps just to get me to think these women are into me. It's a big, fat, juicy scam. It's 100% worthless. I don't know if I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that a lot of people find very successful relationships on dating apps. There's definitely scammers out there for sure. Let's be super honest with that, but also let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. And also to say, like, there are also legitimate relationships that come from dating apps. So it's what you make of it, my dear. such is life. Life is what we make of it. And so are dating apps. Um, How Ripped Up says, how important would you say some sort of connection before even saying a word? I mean, typically connection does come through our words. I mean, you can definitely play like an eye dance game with a woman. If you keep staring at a woman and she's staring back at you, that definitely creates a form of connection. So that it can help things, but eventually it's going to require some form of communication. Jitaro 5181 says women need some sense of mystery. Absolutely. And that's something else I address in this program, how to get a date. And I'll put it back here that I really encourage you guys to get. Um, the thing is, yes, you want to be communicative, you want to be open, but I've always said this is something that you should be mindful of is like, if there are some really fascinating things about you, you've climbed Mount Everest, you've taught English in Africa, like just things that are out of the norm, share some things with her, but also keep some on reserve so that as she's pursuing you or as you're pursuing her, and both of you hopefully are pursuing one another, that she continues to learn more and more about you, because it's like I feel like people are like presents that we're constantly opening in terms of, I've heard married couples say, I've been married to this person 30, 40 years of my life, and I'm still learning things about them. And that's the beauty of the human experience, is that it's always growing. We're always learning from one another. We're always expanding, but it takes a curious person on the other side of that to go on that journey with you. She has to remain curious about you as well. But yes, sometimes holding some very interesting things about yourself and revealing those on a second, third date, and she's gonna be like, wow, like this guy's fascinating, can definitely keep the chemistry brewing. So guys, I hope that this helped you. And just very grateful that we've had good Wi-Fi in this process, because in Portugal it was not so much the case. So Italia, your Wi-Fi is fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I am sending you so much love. Make sure that you check out that program, How to Get a Date, if you really want to avoid um, making some mistakes, before while going on those first dates. And you don't really want to waste your time. I really encourage you. I'm here to equip you guys so that you can trust yourself in the journey of pursuing women. How wonderful does it feel when you know what to do and then you're able to implement that? You can just kind of relax and just be present with the woman in front of you, because you've done your best. You've studied, you've implemented, and you can rest assured in the fact that you're showing up the best way that you know possible. And that is the ultimate achievement of confidence in oneself. So guys, I love you so much. Know that each of you, that you have what it takes. Absolutely 100% you have what it takes. I'm just your guide to help you on that journey, to say, hey, if you do this, this, and this, you'll get these results. That's all I'm here to do, is just to guide you in that process, because I 100% believe that once you figure out what to do, that you become unstoppable. And so it's just my job to be that guide, to show you what to do so that you can be the unstoppable man that she deeply desires and resonates with. So guys, know that I love you very, very much wherever you are, know this, that you are deeply loved and that you matter, and that your desire to meet someone, that is special and that it matters. And it's special because it's your desire and what you want. Well, there's tremendous significance on that. So be loved, guys. And I can't wait to see you guys next week for my live Q&A in my lingerie. So guys, be loved, take care, and sending so much love from Italy. Ciao, ciao.